First, we need to launch a browser. Navigate to virtualbox.org. Once the page loads, choose the package version corresponding to your host operating system. Once the download completes, run the setup program to start the installation. As recommended, choose the default settings by clicking the next buttons in the different windows. Then click Yes to continue and click Install to start the installation. In this task, we will create and prepare a virtual machine in order to start Windows Server 2016. We need to launch the VirtualBox application. After launching the VirtualBox Manager, click on the New button to open the wizard. In the first window, enter the name of the VM and select the OS to install. For the name, we will enter Windows Server 2016, then select Microsoft Windows as the type of virtual machine. Choose a memory size for the virtual machine. VirtualBox recommends 2 GB for this virtual machine settings. Choose the memory size by moving the slider. Then click Next. If you have more than enough memory, pick the option in the farthest green line. By staying in the green zone, the host will not have any issue with slowing down. Choose Create the virtual hard disk now, then click Create. Choose VHD. This option will allow us to use this VM to a Windows Hyper-V, then select Next. Choose Dynamically Allocated and click Next. The next step consists of naming the virtual machine and allocating a size. Use the same name you set on this VM Windows Server 2016, and for the disk size, 50 gig is recommended, but if you have less than 50 gig available, you can allocate 20 gig just for this introductory task. Confirm the setting by clicking the Create button. After creating the virtual machine on VirtualBox, we need to do some additional configurations. Before going ahead and start the operating system, we need to properly prepare the following things. Create the virtual network. Set the number of virtual CPU that our VM will use. Allow file exchange between the VM and the host. There are more other parameters that we can set up, but these are important. First, we need to create a virtual network. Open the File menu and click on Preferences, then click on Network. Then click the tiny green button to add your new network. Change the name to last name 1, last name 2 Network Lab, based on your partner's last name. For the IP address, write 10.10.10.0/24. The /24 represents the subnet mask. This is the alternative to writing 255.255.255.0. To assign dynamic addresses to the VMs, leave the checkmark ticked to the Support DHCP option, then click OK to validate. Next, select your VM and click on the Settings shortcut to open the Settings window. In the General section, go to the Advanced tab and enable the Share Clipboard. By selecting Bidirectional, do the same thing in the Drag and Drop section to be able to drag and drop files and folders between the host and the VM in both ways. Next, click on the system, observe the assigned memory that we have set in the previous step. You can change the value if you want, then click on Network in the Attached to drop-down menu, select NAT Network, and select the last name based on your partner's last name network that we have created in the previous step. There is another way to share files. You can also create a shared folder with your host machine to share files between your host and your virtual machine. Go to Shared Folders section, then click the Add button, then enter the folder path and the folder name. You can set the share to read-only so that the virtual machine can change the content of the shared folder. This step is optional as you have already allowed the bidirectional settings in the previous step. So that's it. We are done with the virtual machine configuration.